Good morning. Good morning, dear students. I think you can hear me. So, shall we start? Right. The last week, we have discussed some general details regarding the quality management. So, in this week, I am going to discuss some tools that we can use in quality management. So, before moving to the slides, so you can see here a very high speed jet. You know, we use this for some work situations. So the purpose of using this type of picture is in this to give you a message regarding the quality assurance. So always, as I discussed in the last previous lecture, so quality management is important in this type of aircrafts and especially for jets. So that's why I put this picture. And we have discussed introduction part, what is quality management and what are the differences in between quality management and quality assurance and quality control. Can you give me a example? Or anybody can give you example? Why? What are the differences in between quality assurance and quality controlling? Who can explain? Then I will ask. What is the quality assurance and what is the quality control? So we have discussed these things in detail last week. So I am just asking, what are the differences in between quality assurance and quality controlling? Anybody? Any volunteer? If not, Madhumali, 1846, Madhumali. You know what is the difference in between these two terms?
Quality control, we observe and detection. But in quality assurance, remove the threats and after it no error.
Yes, it means we are going to solve the entire problem. So thereafter, it will never happen. Right. Very good. Thank you. And I think you can remember what is the total quality management. It is the total the quality assurance and quality control are actually pillars of quality management. Right. Good. Then why quality management is important? So you know why quality is important. So why quality management is important? As we discussed, quality means you know what is quality and management. There are two terms, but together we can discuss quality management. So quality management means how to control the entire quality. It means when it comes to quality management system like ISO or ISO 9001 and 22001. So the entire system you have to maintain the quality. But you know the difference in between SLS certificates and ISO certificates. For SLS certificate, it is the product, quality of the product. But ISO means the quality management systems. It means entire the process from raw material to the up to the consumer, right? Entire system. So you can't mention the ISO. We have ISO 22000 on their labels, but you can use SLSI mark, SLS 141, SLSI 1 marks on your label, but you can't put ISO 22000 or 9000 or 14000 on your label. Why? As we discussed, ISO means a system. It is a system, so but you can write it as like this. This is a ISO certified company. Likewise, you can say, but you can't use only the logo, right? So quality management is important to determine the available and possible risks and opportunities also. We will discuss these things today onwards. So how to identify the risks? Risk management, risk identification is very critical in all these three areas. So when it comes to the agriculture area, now we have not identified the risks regarding the fertilizer. That's what happened. So we just ban importing of chemical fertilizers. So then what happened? We never conducted the risk analysis. So what happened now? So food security issues are there now. Prices are also increasing from agricultural crop products. So those things are increasing. So as a result of that, in the food product and some IBST related products, enzymes, everything will be increased. So therefore, risk analysis is very important. And identification opportunities also we can do through quality management. We will discuss. And to scientifically control or prevent hazards or problems. After identification of those problems and hazards, we can get actions. So preventive actions are there, preventive measures are there. Likewise, actions are there. So the identification, detection is the critical thing. In medical doctors, they are also doing identification, diagnosing. Diagnosing is the critical thing. There are so many people to give medicines, right prescriptions. So the identification, determination, and this is actually a scientific approach. So it is very critical. And to measure and improve employee performance, yes, we can improve their performance as well by now we have a system in our factory, in our institute, so we can automatically their performance will be increased. And to maintain a healthy workplace, that is also automatically happening when we apply these quality management tools and systems. Then the workplace also a friendly one for us, for the workers as well, right? So we have to maintain the proper air circulation and light condition and proper personal hygienic conditions. Everything we have to maintain to get to if it is a high quality product or company or a business. So we have to maintain all these things to facilitate marketing and sales. Actually, when it comes to marketing, the marketing guys, they can market anything, right? If we have ISO certificates or SLA certificate of good quality, so definitely they will use that one as a tool for their marketing strategy. So if it is, as an example, if it is you can see on television advertisements also, they are highlighting their certificates and quality shoots. Sometimes I can remember one advertisement regarding FedNow related product. They highlight their research papers. We have done this research and we publish this research in this particular organization and journal. So they use as a marketing strategy, their quality, right? And how to market, we can use several strategies, but actually what we have to do is market our product by satisfying our customers, right? By satisfying our customers. And high customer loyalty, right? High customer loyalty, the management, the loyalty. But nowadays we don't have enough LP gas. So they have there are two companies in Sri Lanka, but what happened now, have a proper plan. So if there is an issue like this, so they have to prepare before marketing. So if we are going to market a product or a service, so it should be continuous. It should be a continuous product, as we discussed in the first day. But if when it comes to a LP gas business in Sri Lanka, they don't know that one. I'm not sure whether they know or don't know. But anyway, if you are going to do your own business, so you have to implement all these things under quality management. And in this picture, you can see how to process organized activities. So before starting your business, need identification is very important. In Sri Lanka, you can see if somebody start vegetable selling point, so his friend or the neighbor also going to start that one. Then there will be around 3-4 vegetable stalls, but no fruit stall, but no any place to get some grocery items. So that is the thing. So need identification is very important under the quality management. We all have to identify the needs before starting our business. Then the organizational requirements and also external requirements are there, right? Before starting our business or quality management or implementing these things, some organizational requirements are also there. We need this certificate. We need this type of quality management system. We need this type of quality parameters. And some external requirements also there. What are the external environment? External requirements. So some laws and regulations are there. Some we have to pay something for some standard amounts, standard payments for particular government institutes, and to get some reports. So likewise, there are some external requirements as well. And then the determination of ensuring the resources. So now we have a good picture. We know why do we need, so what we are needed, and then we can go ahead with the resources, right? Then organizational activities are there, processes. Process you can process or you can give your service to the customers, and ultimately you can get a product or a service and maybe results, right? This is the process. I think it's a general thing, you know these things. And thereafter, in Sri Lanka, like countries, we never do it. Analysis of the result. We just produce something and send to the market, and at the end of the month we review the bank account. What would be the profit, right? We based on the only the profit. Not we are not going to analyze the results. Only we do our what do you call the accounts part. But the result analysis and data collection, data analysis is very important quality management, and then we can review the results, right? And we can get a decisions and implement again. If you can determine whether we have satisfy the customers or not. As an example, we are going to develop a new tomato variety, right? New tomato variety, because now the price is very high and fertilizers are not available. So our 80 people, they can develop their own new tomato variety, right? Then do these things and process and send to the market. And you can analyze the market and you can analyze the number of kilograms and sales and everything. And at end of the day, you can see the product returns, if there are losses, right? And consumer complaints, likewise. If there are so many complaints, so it is not necessary to go ahead with this business, right? So you have to do the necessary changes. If we have very good demand, then what happens? At the end of the day, there are no complaints. We have very good demand for all our products. Then we can go ahead. It means a continuous improvement. For all the industries, they need continuous improvement. If not, we can't survive in the market. So this is quality management is actually a management principle, and also quality is a science. So it's actually a science. So you need to, especially I advise you to analyze the results and review those results before make your decisions. So it is very important. Quality controlling. We discussed this. The major objective of quality controlling is to provide a quality assurance. So, you know, as she mentioned, what are the differences in between quality assurance and quality controlling? Quality controlling guy, he is or she is doing, is providing the quality assurance, but quality assurance is a different one. Several quality control tools and procedures are available. You know, this we are going to discuss today. We are going to start quality control tools and procedures. There are so many tools and procedures are available. I'm going to discuss some very important tools and procedures. So if you are interested, you can read some books. Identification of defects. How to identify the defects? Important. Analyze those gaps and reporting to the relevant parties are very important quality management. This, as an example, if you are working under a private industry, so maybe a food processing company, maybe a as an example, banana export industry. So you know it is very famous in Sri Lanka, banana export. So if somebody has a risk, somebody has COVID, has or any skin rash, so you should import, you should aware, make the quality assurance guy aware. So it should happen. So always be honest in the quality management. So not only in quality in the industries and government institutes, but personally, we should have quality character, right? He's a very smart guy, he's very on the quality right? So quality means the ethics are there, and knowledge and science, everything should be there. So if you are going to study quality assurance, so you have to improve your qualities as well. Then PDCA cycle, I think you may heard this one, PDA cycle or Deming cycle, a Schwartz cycle. There are similar names and so many synonyms. So it is founded by William Edward Deming. No, it's very famous. And there are only 4 steps in the PDA cycle. There are 4 steps. It's a cycle. So if it is a cycle, you can, it is one, right? Repeated again, continuous improvement. Continuous improvement means, what is continuing, what is improving. So continuous improving means based on the result. In the previous slide also, this slide also you can see, we can go ahead with the business based on the results and outputs. So continuous improvement is very important. So here you can see 4 steps: act, plan, do, and check. PDCA, right? First, we have to plan our thing based on the needs, right? If it is this example, we can business based on the results and market after conducting market analysis. If it is a problem, then we can identify the problem using tools. We have some tools to identify, we will discuss. Then do it, implement it, and check it and get the decisions. If it is a good decision, if it is a good one, then you can. If it is not good, if it is not sufficient, so we can follow the procedure again, right? There are 4 steps. We call it as PDCA: plan, do, check, and act. First, you have to plan, identify the problem, so identify the risk, anything. Then do test potential solutions. You can identify the solutions. If we have a problem, we have solutions. So the thing we have to do is to select the proper one. So we have to select the proper one and test it here and analyze the result. It means checking and study the problem and study its efficiency, study how it works. If it is working well, then you can implement it. If not, you have to follow the circle again. In planning, problem or opportunity identification is there, and develop hypothesis about the gap or issue. If we have a gap or we have issue, sometimes, as an example, the pumpkin harvest in some season, the farmers, they even can't sell their pumpkin. So you can remember the last year or in 2020, the Cargills, they purchased their pumpkin and they give a gift for the consumers. If somebody take more than 200 2000, they proceed of 2000 bill, then they will give a piece of pumpkin, right? Such things were there in Sri Lanka. So it's actually issue. So we don't have planning. We know in our country we have no planning procedures, right? Anyway, as you are technologist, PDC is very important. I'm not talking about the political situation in the country. So planning is problem or opportunity identification analysis. How to identify the diagnostic is important, right? How to diagnose a problem, it is important. So technologists have a good eye and good senses to identify. There are so many people to give solutions and do these things. Problem or opportunity identification is critical. We should do these things and develop hypothesis. How to develop hypothesis, and there are several hypotheses, and finally decide which hypothesis to test. There are so many hypotheses, right? So we have to select the best one. So we have a CKD issue in Sri Lanka. So what type of hypothesis? So we can stop fertilizer and pesticide imports. We can ban this one, and in the other hand, we can give good water to the farmers and people in these areas, and we can implement some filtration systems, right? There are so many things we can enhance the capacity of the hospitals and good treatment centers, but there were so many hypotheses, but how to select, implement it. So what we done is import fertilizer banded. So then what happened with this guy, with this action, then so many problems are appearing. So the planning is important. Then implement the potential solution at prototype level. So if it is, there are so many hypotheses and solutions, maybe solutions. So never apply this for the entire population. Select a sample, do it at prototype level, right? You have selected a solution now. Don't try to do it for a mass scale. You have to implement it at prototype levels, means small scale, and measure its outputs and results, right? After implementation, you can get results. Then check, analyze and measure its effectiveness, how it's effective, right? Determine whether the hypothesis is suitable or not for the identified gaps. It's very, very easy to understand this thing, PDA cycle. First, identification, filtration, and implementation, and determine its suitability. Then act. If the identified solution is successful, implement it. Or if not, reconsider the process. You have to replan it, right? As we discussed, is a circle, so you can replan it, right? So now we have issue CKD, then we have decided hypothesis and do it. But what we have done is we implement this solution for the entire community. It is a big issue, right? So you have to do it, and you have to do it at prototype level, right? Then check its result and act it. But what we are doing is we just take this decision and implement at the mass scale. There is no prototypes, there is no analyzing. We are not going to analyze something. We just plan and act, right? No studies are there, right? Here you can see another example related to ISO 9001. There is a standard called ISO 9001 2015 quality management system, right? You can see the name here, and I hope it is very difficult to understand you now. So you will be able to understand this slide at the end of this lecture series. So anyway, I'll give you an introduction. when we are going to implement this ISO 9000 system in our premises, our factory, in our institution. So here also planning step. What are the consumer requirements, organization and its context, and need and expectation of relevant parties. Sometimes, suppose this is a export-based company. We can export our food products to Europe. We can export our products to Asian countries. So the Europe, they are asking BRC standards. So now we are going to implement ISO standards. So it is not necessary. So you have to, as a quality manager, quality assurance manager, you have to study these things before implementing, right? What are the organizational requirements, customer requirements, and other requirements? Then you can plan and support. It means doing. And performance evaluation. How to evaluate the performance based on customer satisfaction, returns of the quality management, sorry, results of the quality management system. I will explain you how to get the results, and products and services, right? Based on the data of these parameters, you can evaluate the performance of this system. Then if there are some improvements, so we can do these improvements and some amendments. If it is not suitable, then we can remove it, right? This is the entire process of PDCA cycle. You can use this PDCA cycle for your questions as well, right? I think you got it. If you have questions, you can raise the hand and ask, okay? Okay. Then planning. You can remember the planning process. In the PDCA cycle, the first step is planning. For planning, we have number of tools, right? Number of standard tools. You may heard that 5Y analysis. It's very common one. I think you are aware about on that. And 5W&H analysis and starbursting method and fishbone diagram. It is very common. You know what is fishbone diagram, and there are so many tools are available, but I am going to discuss these three. Then you can use this one of these three tools for your planning process, and you have to do some examples. So be carefully listen, and if you have any question, you can ask. You may ask. Okay. Right. In your exams also class, what is PDA cycle and draw the PDCA cycle and write the things and fill these areas. Please never expect such questions. So I'll give you some case studies and practical scenarios to solve. So therefore, be carefully listen and practice these things. Do not try to remember all the words, right? 5Y means we are going to ask why 5 times. Okay. Here, the main objective of this 5Y analysis is to plan, is to get the root cause for the problem. So how to solve the problem. Okay. Here there is a problem. Sometimes you can get your own example. Then ask why. And now you have a reply. Then again ask why. Right? Likewise, you can ask why for 5 times. And at the end of the day, and the end of the 5th one, you can get the solution. Pay your attention on this example. Right? Define the problem. Odd flavor of the vanilla ice cream 4-liter pack. This is relevant to the, I think, I hope, I suppose you all love to eat ice cream. So therefore I use this example. And this is actually relevant to the all 3 streams. Food processing is there, agriculture products are there. And for the vanilla extraction, again, IBST people also can comment on this, right? Always I try to use common examples. That's why I use ice cream, and you all love to ice cream, right? Then we have identified a problem in the quality control manager, quality control executive. He identified there is a odd flavor, off flavor, right, of the vanilla ice cream, but only in 4-liter packs. Maybe a consumer complaint, customer complaint, right? Anyway, now we have identified the problem of flavor of the vanilla ice cream, but only in 4-liter packs. But up to some stage, problem is solved. So it means only for the 4-liter packs, means the other packs are good, right? So you can define it, you can analyze it, how the process line is working. Then sometimes there are so many, sometimes there are 4-5 bulk tanks, but we use only 1 or 2 bulk tanks for in preparing 4-liter vanilla ice cream pack. So we have to analyze only the relevant right. The first why the odd flavor of the vanilla ice cream. So maybe a error of the flavoring process, because the bulking agents are common, you know, in preparing vanilla, fruit and nut, strawberry, and the other one is strawberry. Like these 3 or 4 ice creams, the base is common, but flavor is different and color is different. And when it comes to fruit and nut, we use some cashews and some fruit, tutti fruttis instead of the color and flavor. So the bulk is common. We use fat, milk, fat and fat sugar, right? And wheat flour. So error of the flavoring process. Why it happens? What is the reason? Why there is error? Why is there error of flavoring process? A new vanilla flavor has been introduced by the research and development department for 4-liter packs, right? There may be several answers, right? This is my answers. These are my answers, okay? Error of the flavoring process. But why it happens, why it occurs as a result of new vanilla flavor introduced by the R&D department for the 4-liter packs. Why they have introduced this type of new vanilla flavor? Due to the customer complaints regarding the previous vanilla flavor. There was one vanilla flavor, existing flavor, but there was several customer complaints. As a result of that, the team R&D department they have introduced a new vanilla flavor. As a result of this vanilla flavor, this odor flavor has come, right? The flow is okay. Then why customer complaints are there? Due to the sedimentation and discoloration, right? There was an issue for the customers for vanilla 4-liter packs. They have identified some sedimentation and color changes. Then they complain to the company. So what is the result of sedimentation and discoloration? Why it happens? Occurs as a result of new vanilla flavor extraction method, right? They have introduced a low-cost method, new method. So there is an error in this method, right? Now you can see the issue, problem, or flavor of the vanilla ice cream, and the root cause, extraction method, and finally, cost is there, right? Therefore, financial department and R&D department are there, but the issue identified by the quality assurance department, right? Likewise, you can ask different, you can give different answers. Sometimes the answer may be different, right? But at the end of the day, at the 5th why, after the 5th why, you can get the root cause. Okay, and this test should be conducted by an experienced person or a quality assurance manager or executive who is having good experience regarding the process line. If not, some other people, maybe the marketing department, they will give different answers, right? maybe a weather issue, maybe a issue in transport, maybe issue in temperatures or different answers might be there, but identification, diagnosing is important. So you or any qualified, experienced guy has to conduct it. Got it? Questions? Do you have questions? Right, then we can move. You know, the fishbone diagram, we call it as, there are so many, several names, fishbone diagram and Ishikawa diagram, right? Make a malu katuak wage, the structure of fish structure, right? That's why we call it as fishbone diagram. And on his head, this is the issue. We normally write on his head, and there are several branches, right? Some bones, 6 bones. Likewise, you can see the 5 M's: material, method, manpower, and machines. So there are some sub deviations are there, branches are there. So when it comes to a method, the problem is here iron in product, metal detection. Right? It's a critical problem in food industry or in other industries as well. We don't have, and in Sri Lankan product, actually we are not paying our attention on that, but in the international market, they follow these things in as a critical issues, So therefore, we detected iron in our product, then we can use this diagram, and in this one method, so there are analytical procedures and sampling procedures. So then again we can deviate based on our experience. Analytical procedures again deviate calibration, and not, we have not followed this calibration method. And sampling issues, dirty bottles and iron tools. So there are some issues with the sampling bottles as well. And when it comes to machine errors, when we consider this issue as a machinery error, then we have rusty pipes in our production line, we have heat exchangers, and we have we can consider our construction materials. So exchanges, we use this type of materials, reactors, and all these things are there. With our experience, we can develop this chart, develop this picture. And all these things are there when it comes to materials, then raw materials and lab solvent contaminations, and suppliers, supplier 1, 2, everything is there. So then you can analyze then you can get analyze the root cause, right? So then you can draw this diagram based on your experience. Here you have to write the issue, and there are 5 M's. And the standard methods we are using 5 M's and 6 M measurement material likewise, and do the analysis in detail. So if you have so many cases, then you can divide it further, right? Right? That's the way to conduct fishbone diagram. Then this exercise, you have to submit this exercise in before the next lecture. Create a fishbone diagram, cause and effect. There are 3 names for this issue, global warming, right? It's a common one. Then you have to prepare the fishbone diagram. Then I will discuss it with you in the next day. So please prepare it and save it as a PDF or JPEG. Then I will select some people. I will randomly select some students and ask them to submit. Then you can send it to me. Then I will show their example and their design, and I will discuss that design in the next week. So I think it's good, right? If not, you just listen and I just explain. So two-way communication, it's not there. So the next week, please prepare the fishbone diagram for this issue, and I will discuss several examples with you, your own examples. Okay, Then I think the things we have discussed is clear. No problem, no questions. So let me to discuss the other very important parts. But now onwards, we are going to discuss 7 quality tools. Sometimes the 7 quality tools are new to you. Sometimes you may heard these words. And some students, they are following some diplomas regarding the quality, and some students, they have work on food industries and any industry before they enter into the university. So some students, they should have this, they might have the knowledge on 7 quality tools. And I suppose you all never heard 7 quality tools, and I will explain. Then at the end of the day, you have to explain 7 quality tools to me, right? Because 7 quality tools are very important. At the end of the day, you have to explain 7 quality tools. I will give you an issue or any gap. Then you have to prepare the documents and explain it to me. Right? You got it? Okay. Then 7 quality tools also originated in Japan, and Deming and Juran, they have introduced, and they have used 7 quality tools in their development. That's why it's critical. We always talk about Japan and their development, the World War situation in Japan and how did they develop. So you have to follow the story. How did they use these tools in their development? I'm not going to explain these things. So after that, the all industries were followed 7 quality tools as a mandatory tool. It means the all Japanese industries had to follow these 7 quality tools, right? It is mandatory. It was mandatory, right? These are simple tools you all can understand easily, and graphical representations are there, and these are statistical tools, right? You can use these simple graphical and statistical tools to solve problems, right? And we also call it as basic tools of the quality. So there are 7 tools. There should be 7 quality tools because the name is 7 quality control tools, and this is belong to quality controlling, right? 7 quality control and tools. You know what is the meaning of tools? We use tools to get support for our day-to-day activities, right? So like these tools also you can use to get some support for your problems. Maybe your personal problems also you can use this type of 7 quality tools. Okay, these are the 7: check sheets, Pareto sheets, stratification, diagram, cause and effect diagram, scatter diagram, and control charts. And you can see the charts and diagrams in this background, right? All these things are charts and diagrams, graphical representations. So it's very easy, but you better to study these things with your own examples. Then need not to remember these things, right? Okay. First of all, check sheets, and there are 2 names. You can see check sheets and tally sheets. I'm not going to explain the difference. At the end of the lecture, you will be able to identify and determine the difference in between these 2 terms. So check sheets are very simple documents to collect on-site real-time data. What is the importance of these check sheets? You can collect real-time data, right? On-site data. On-site means on the site, right? You can visit your site and you can visit your place and collect data. used to collect the data at frequent interval. It is very frequent intervals is very important. Means once a month, once a week, or daily and annually. Like frequent interval should be there, right? It is very critical and typically a blank form. It is generally commonly check sheets are a blank form. Check sheets, we call it check. If it is a check sheet, it's a blank form. We have to fill it. Gather data based on the predetermined criteria. We have determined criteria. We have determined criteria, predetermined criteria based on our process, based on our requirements, based on the company requirements. We have determined the data. Maybe price, maybe metal particle size, metal particle weight, cost, and the quality, packaging issues, number of returns, number of customer complaints. Likewise, we can determine it. It is actually predetermined based on your experience and your requirement. For the quick and efficient recording of desired information, you can easily record it. You can easily take these data and can be either quantitative or qualitative. Maybe quantitative data or maybe qualitative data. Quantitative means we can quantify neither. But qualitative means just we can't quantify just a thing, whether you can't write numbers, okay? Right or wrong like this. If the information is quantitative, then we call it as tally sheets, right? You can remember there are two names for the check sheets and tally sheets. So what is the difference in between check sheets and tally sheets? If it is a check sheet, it's basically qualitative. If it is a quantitative one, then we call it as tally sheets. The structure is same, right? The basics are same, but names are different. You can use the similar names, but in the industries, they use two terms, okay? This is the tool. This is the, here you can see one example for the check sheets. Please read it. On the left side, you can see defect types or type of the defects. And reject packs, number of rejections, metal particles, labeling error, weight loss, sealing errors. We have identified these issues based on our experience, neither. And you can remember that I told the frequent interval should be there, right? Monday to Sunday. So we are going to analyze it in the entire week. And total is there and there. There are two totals. Okay. Now here you can see when it comes to rejected packs, number of rejections. Monday you can see only one. Tuesday no, Wednesday no, Thursday one rejection is there, was there. Friday there were two rejections, Saturday no, Sunday there were three. So total rejections in this week are 7. Here, metal particles. We have identified metal particles 2 times or for 2 batches on Monday and 3 batches or 3 times on Tuesday. Likewise, you can see 15 events. In this week, we have identified metal particles for 15 times. But here you can see only the times, right? Labeling error, Monday no, Tuesday no, Tuesday 1, Wednesday and Thursday you can see number of labeling errors and the total is around 9. Weight errors means sometimes you have the standard weight is 100 grams, but normally there are some errors 105, 102 and 95 like errors. Here you can see number of events, how many events in this week. with the date, right? And sealing errors also reported. And on Thursday, you can see errors are high, number of errors are high and 40. For this rows, you can see total total count for the particular defect. But in this, at the end of this rows, you can see columns, you can see in Monday, how many defects? 6 defects. Tuesday, 7 defects, including all these defects. But Tuesday, you can see there were no rejections. But Wednesday also there were no rejections. And Thursday, 15 errors were there. 15 errors, right? And likewise, you can see in this week, number of events are 53, right? And you can see the total. Okay. So, give me your suggestions on this chart. Give me a suggestion. What is the name of this chart? Whether it is a check sheet or a tally sheet.
It's a tally sheet.
Tally sheet. Tarashika. Okay, Tarashika, thank you. And Achini? Whether it is a tally sheet or
Check sheet.
check sheet. Why is that? And Hansika? 1838, Hansika? And Larifa? Larifa, yes.
Tally sheet.
Tally sheet. Okay, Uttara, 84.
Tally sheet, sir.
Okay. Dilshani, HGA Dilshani. Lakshita? What do you think? Lakshita? Lakshita, are you there? Pradeep Ratnayaka? Boys, what happened to you? Pradeep? Vimukti? How about your idea? Whether it is a tally sheet or check sheet?
Check sheet.
Okay. You call it as check sheet and tally sheets. But here you can see only number of events, right? No weights, number of kilograms you can't see. Only number of events here. Metal particles. On Monday, 2 times we have detected metal particles. No weights, right? On Thursday, 5 times we have identified, or maybe 5 batches. If you have batches in a service, so you may identify metal particles, all these batches, right? So that's why. So you can see only events, but not quantity. So it is a check sheet. And you can see on Thursday, it's the critical day, right? Thursday is the critical day. Why? Highest number of errors were reported on Thursday in this week. Based on this reading, based on this check sheet, you can get decisions. So then you can trace it back. Who are the workers on Thursday? And who were the suppliers? And who is a supervisor? Who is a quality manager? And then you can determine the reasons right? Now you have very good data. Then you can determine the root cause or root causes for entire errors, right? So that's the thing I need to highlight here. And 14th, in this, when we consider the entire week, you can see sealing errors are the maximum errors. Sealing errors are critical. So in this week, sometimes sealer is not properly, or there might be an issue with the packaging materials or with the operator. So as a result of that, you can come up with a decision. The sealer, you have to check it again, right? For packaging materials, you can determine the then for the sealing error, you can draw a fishbone diagram and find out the root cause. And the day again, Thursday, what happened on Thursday, right? There were so many errors on Thursday. Then you can pay your attention on Thursday and identify and determine the things, right? And here also you can take your decisions. Metal particles, you can see only Monday to Thursday, only Monday to Friday. And Saturday and Sunday, there were no events, right? Why is that? Sometimes metal detectors were not working, right? Sometimes there were no metal particles. But why it is happening from Monday to Thursday, Friday? In these weekdays, you can see there were metal particles, but on the weekends, you can't see. So there are some problems. Sometimes genuinely there were no metals. Sometimes for the weekend, sometimes contract workers may there, and the quality assurance manager is not there. So there are some issues, right? And here you can see another sample. Next example. This is again a type of check sheet. You can see metal particles on a magnet. We have determined in our process, we have installed 5 magnets. 2 magnets for the raw material receiving area and another 2 for the packaging area, and there is the final magnet on at the loading bay. And we are going to measure the weight of metal particles. So therefore, we call it as a tally sheet. Here you can see quantitative data, but in the previous one, we discussed about qualitative data. You can see grams, right? On the magnet 1, you can see 17.2 grams in this week. And magnet 2, this is common. I think that before packaging, you have to remove all the metal particles. So therefore, the first 1, 2, or 3 magnets, you have to detect all the metal particles and remove those. If not, your final product also contaminated with metal, right? And you can see here, when we discussed, when we explain this chart, tally sheet, you can see from magnet 1, the Monday it was 5.5 grams, but Thursday 0.5 gram, and after that you can't see. It's very minor amount. Magnet 2 also similar, and 3 likewise, but 4 and 5 it's very good, not detected after Thursday, right? Then after Thursday the situation is good. Okay? The magnet, the metal count is satisfied, but here you can see very big amounts, and on Monday you can see the highest amount. So we can come up with some decisions, because on Sunday evening or Monday morning, we had some constructions in our processing line. Sometimes, right? Then you can study this chart, ask somebody and your quality control manager, please explain this situation. Then he will explain we had some maintenance activities on Monday morning, early morning. So we fixed some machines, so there were some metal particles, right? As a result of that, you can see from Monday to Wednesday, we had some metal particles. It is our issue, right? That is one decision. So if not, we have purchased raw materials from Monday to Wednesday from this particular customers. But after Thursday, we change the customers, sorry, suppliers. So as a result of that, this thing might happen. So likewise, you can make decisions based on these quality control tools. Got it? Any issues? So the charts are very similar, very general. You all can do these things. It's very easy to do these things, and you can come up with very rich, very standard, very good decisions based on these charts. So I have explained the first one under the 7 quality tools, check sheets, and there were two terms, check sheets and tally sheets. We have explained, we have discussed the check sheet first and then tally sheets, and what type of decisions we can make by using this type of charts, right? Then you can study yourself, you can implement these things, and it's very critical to maintain frequent intervals here and predetermined criteria. Right? මෙතන magnet එක දාලා මෙතනට magnet එක දාලා නොගැලපෙන දේවල්, we can't use different things together, right? If we have sometimes we have 5 processing lines, so we are going to take the magnets from entire processing lines. We can't get decision based on that. So you have to determine these criteria based on your experience and with your requirements. Okay, it is also critical. Hope it seems you don't have questions. So the second one, I will stop with the second one, Pareto charts. It is actually born in Italy, and Pareto chart is a bar type graph. This is the second one. The first one, it is a chart. It is actually chart. This is a graph, right? We can use Pareto charts again for our planning process. And to find the most significant cause or causes for a specific problem when there are a number of responsible causes. If there are so many causes, so many errors, so by using this Pareto chart, you can identify the significant things. Out of these all issues, we can determine the critical issues. When analyzing the frequency of occurrence of problems and causes, we can analyze the frequency of occurrence. It means how many times, how many events per selected time, right? Per similar intervals, maybe a week or a year, how many times it is occurring. To monitor and communicate the causes effectively. If we have errors, then we can monitor it effectively. When we are discussing Pareto charts, 80-20 rule is important. This is very interesting story. 80-20 rule. Right? 80-20 rule means 80 of the effects come from 20 of the causes. Right? 80 of the effects are come up with as a result of 20% of causes. Practically, when we discuss the entire situation in the country also, we can get the decision. You know, we have some picketings and parades in all these days. But who did these things? In our university also, we know. We had a vice chancellor in 2010 to 2014. You may heard that Dr. Karunaratna, he always told that 5% is doing all these things in the all struggles in the university, but they will determine the future of other rest 95%. In our country also that is happening. You can see the teachers struggle, then 5% or 10% were there, but they determine the majority's future, right? I'm not talking about the political things. So that is the reality in the country and our university also. You know personally, the minimum, the minor quantity, minor amount will determine the majority's future, right? That is the rule. Pareto chart revolves around the concepts of 80-20 rule, which underlines that is any process, 80% of problems of failures is just caused by 20% of few, right? 80% of problems of failures just caused by 20% of few major factors, which are often referred as vital few, whereas remaining 20% of problems of failures is caused by 80% of many minor factors, which are also referred as trivial many. Got it? සිංහලෙන් කියනවා නම් 180ක ප්‍රශ්න වලට හේතු වෙන්නේ 120ක් වන බහුතරය. අනිත් පැත්තට ගත්තොත් 120ක් වන සුළුතරය මගේ 180ක් ප්‍රශ්න නිර්මාණය කරනවා. Right? I don't know in Tamil, but in English, 20% will determine the 80% future. Right? 80% is responsible for the 20% of output. Right? Okay. As an example, you have organized your batch trip, right? Who will take the responsibility? There are few people, and at the morning you are going to 5:30 a.m. you are going to start, but still 5:30 still we don't have 5 people. Always it is happening, and they will determine, those 5 guys will determine the others time, others everything they will determine. Okay, that is the thing. It's normally happen in the country and in the nature also, right? Here you can see Pareto charts. When it comes to Pareto charts, the nature is there. So you can see the frequency and type of medication errors. So there are so many errors, dose missed, wrong time, wrong drug. Likewise, there are so many issues they have identified and determine their frequency and draw this chart. It's very easy. You can just take the reasons and number of times and frequency, and the Word or Excel you can develop this chart. And cumulative percentage is here. Cumulative percentage එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියලා. At the end of this the cumulative percentage should be, total should be 100. Then you have developed this one, and you can see the 80 here, 80% here. You can see here, this point it is the 80%. So therefore this is the 20%. And from 80 you can see this is an actual example, and 80-20 rule is there. So 80 and 20 here, from here to here 80, here to here 20. So you can see for 80 problems, how many for 80 outputs, you can see that around 20% of the trivial mean, right? Sorry. Here you can see 80 and 20. For the 20 will cause for this 80. In this example, you can see here, right? Here, product categories and issues. You can see from here to here, and when we calculate here the 80% is here. For the 80%, 21% of the product categories are responsible, right? Others for 76, right? It means in this picture also you can see 20 factors effect for 80% of result, and 80% of factors will result for at least for around 20%, right? Any problem? Do you have problems, questions? Right. Then how to draw this? How to prepare this Pareto chart? Prepare a list of causes or problems. As you can see here, Pareto chart, type of medication errors. So you have to determine these problems. Define a time period and then collect the data related to those causes or problems. Then we are going to get the data for a predetermined time period, maybe 1 week or 2 weeks or 1 month, right? Then you can collect data. Assess the frequency of occurrence of each problem or cause and calculate their grand total values, and finally calculate the percentage value. You know how to calculate the value. We have listed the problems, and then we are going to calculate the frequency and get their percentages. You know how to get the percentage. You can get the total, and the particular number you can divide by the total and multiply by 100. Then how to get the percentage. This is important. List out the problems from high to low, most frequent to least frequent. Here you can see me. Most frequent to least frequent. It is important. Okay. Draw the bar charts as the x-axis representing the problems, x-axis representing the problems, and y-axis representing the cumulative percentage. Here you can see the frequency and cumulative percentage. And frequency, draw a line graph of the cumulative percentage from top left side to the right. How to draw this graph? You can easily get this graph from Word or Excel. Cumulative percentage, right? Draw this graph and write the and calculate percentages and these things. Then you can take the decisions on 80%. Okay. Here you can see it, how to develop it. Then you can get an example and do this chart yourself. Okay. So I'm going to wind up now, and if you have questions, I can help you. I think it's very clear. Today we have discussed quality management. Why is it important? So how to implement quality management, and PDCA cycle. There were two steps: plan, do, check, and act. And what are the steps? So how to do these things? And we have discussed some examples as well. And planning tools are there. 5Y analysis, 5WNH, and Fishbone. We have discussed these tools with some examples, and you are also going to do this thing, and I will ask your one next week, right? Then the 7 quality tools started. It's very important, and in Japanese people found these things, and Dimang and Churan, and they use these things for their developments, and there were 7 tools: check sheets, Pareto sheets, stratification, histogram, cause and effect. Cause and effect means again fishbone diagram. Okay, scatter diagram and control chart. Out of these 7, we have discussed check sheet and Pareto chart today. So check sheets, you have to use frequent intervals. You have to do it in frequent intervals. And there are 2 types, quantitative and qualitative. When it comes to qualitative, it is called as check sheets. When it comes to quantitative, we call it as tally sheets. Then Pareto charts, also developed in it's developed in Italy, and it's a type of bar graph chart, and it's also very simple. And 80-20 rule is there. As I explained you, 80% of the problems of failures just caused by 20% of few, and there were two terms, vital few and trivial, and we have discussed some examples. You can and how to develop this one, and there were some important points. The questions should, and the problems and causes should be identified, and define its frequency and the percentage, and list out its highest percentage, lowest percentage, and draw the diagram, and then draw the and calculate the cumulative percentage, and develop the chart and get decisions, right? Okay, we will. I'll give you example. If I have time, I will share some examples with you. Then you can do it and send back to me. So if not after completion of these 5, then we can do it. Okay. Any question? So if you have no questions, I'm going to wind up the session. And thank you for joining today. And if you have questions, you can email me